4.3 Additional Conditions. 1. Duties after loss. After submission of reasonably sufficient proof of a loss in respect of a loss which may be insured under Section 1, each of you may be required separately to I. Submit to examination under oath. II. Produce for examination all documents in your possession or control that relate to the application for insurance and proof of loss. III. Permit extracts and copies of such documents to be made, all at a reasonable place and time designated by us. 2. Notice to the authorities. Where the loss is due to malicious act, burglary, robbery, theft, or attempt, threat, or is suspected to be so due, the insured shall give immediate notice thereof to the police or other authorities having jurisdiction. 3. No benefit to bailees. It is warranted by the insured that this insurance shall be in no wise inure, directly or indirectly, to the benefit of any carrier or other bailee. 4. Pair and set. In the case of loss of or damage to any article or articles, whether scheduled or unscheduled, which are part of a set, the measure of loss or of damage to such article or articles shall be reasonable and fair proportion of the total value of the set, but in no event shall such loss or damage be construed to mean total loss of set. 5. Parts. In the case of loss of or damage to any part of the insured property, whether scheduled or unscheduled, consisting, when complete for use, of several parts, the insurer is not liable for more than the insured value of the parts lost or damaged, including the cost of installation. 6. Sue and labor. It is the duty of the insured in the event that any property insured hereunder is lost to take all reasonable steps in and about to recovery of such property. The insurer shall contribute pro rata towards any responsible and proper expenses in connection with the foregoing according to the respective interests of the parties. 7. Basis of settlement. Unless otherwise provided, the insurer is not liable beyond the actual cash value of the property at the time any loss or damage occurs, and the loss or damage shall be ascertained or estimated according to such actual cash value, with proper deduction for depreciation, however caused, and shall in no event exceed what it would then cost to repair or replace the same with mere materials of like kind and quality. 8. Subrogation. We will be entitled to assume all your rights of recovery against others, and may bring action in your name to enforce these rights when we make payment or assume liability under this policy. However, if you're a strata unit owner or a strata corporation, we agree to waive our rights to any claim against the strata corporation, its strata council members, property managers, agents, and employees, except for arson, fraud, and vehicle impact. We shall not consider independent contractors as being agents or employees of the strata corporation, its strata council members, property managers, or of the strata lot owners. The amount recovered less the cost of recovery will be shared between you and us in proportion to the loss that each has borne. You shall sign and deliver all related papers and cooperate with us in any reasonable manner to secure such rights. Your right to recover from us is not affected by any release from liability entered into by your prior to loss. 9. Automatic reinstatement. Any loss or damage shall not reduce the amount of insurance provided by this policy. 10. More than one insured. Where the insurance applies to the property of more than one person, our total liability is limited to the aggregate to the amount or limit of insurance indicated on the declaration page. 11. Liberalization clause. If we adopt any revision which would broaden coverage under this policy without any additional premium during this policy period, the broadened coverage will immediately apply to this policy. 12. Change in policy. No waiver or change of any provision of this policy may be made except by us in writing. Except as provided herein, all the terms and conditions of this policy shall have full force and effect. 13. Inflation protection provision. On the renewal date of your policy, we will automatically adjust your limit of insurance for Section 1 property coverages to reflect changes in the annual inflation rate. This inflation protection provision does not apply to home business insurance rider R14. 14. More than one policy. If you have other insurance or specifically described property, our policy will be considered excess insurance and we will not pay any loss or claim until the amount of such other insurance is used up. In all other cases, our policy will pay its ratable portion of the loss or claim. If you have other insurance on liability which applies to a loss or claim, or would have applied if this policy did not exist, this policy will be considered excess insurance and we will not pay any loss or claim until the amount of such other insurance is used up. If you have other insurance coverage on liability with us which applies to a loss or claim, the maximum limit payable by us per occurrence or accident would be that of the higher limit of liability coverage provided under a single policy and not the combined limit of all coverages from all policies.